Hi Damsels, it's Erwan here. So for today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys something really cool. I was on Etsy one night and I was just looking up some random things and I came across a vintage shop that sold vintage Disney items and I immediately freaked out. There's not a lot of vintage Disney things that are out there that are for a decent price. So the name of the shop is MP Games and I will leave their link down below. Basically, they had a bunch of vintage Disney board games and I literally freaked out because I love playing board games. So I'm going to share with you guys 2 Disney board games in this video. I did find something else that's not Disney related and I will share that with you guys like at the end of the video, but I'm going to focus on the Disney board games that I found. So in the end, I ended up purchasing 3. So the first one that I'm going to share is called, you guys, are you guys ready to freak out? Because I'm literally freaking out. It is called Disney's Pocahontas game. And guys, this is like a legit board game. It says, join Pocahontas and John Smith on a fun adventure. It says, save $3 by mail when you purchase Pocahontas' read-along and any other Disney read-along. Offer expires May 31st, 1996. What? Explore the new world with Pocahontas and John Smith. Let me just show you guys what the back looks like. So it says, now you can join in on the exciting adventure of Pocahontas and Captain John Smith. Begin by showing John Smith the way to the waterfall where Pocahontas awaits. Introduce them with a lucky turn of the dial. Spin the Pathfinder near Grandmother Willow. Will she show you the way across? Just ahead is Powhatan's hut, where John Smith is being held prisoner. Turn the dial to set him free. Oh my god, this is so cool. Collect tokens showing Native American and English ways of life. You'll win by collecting the right tokens and returning John Smith to his ship. Oh my lord, this is crazy. Like, this is like a legit board game, you guys. Look at this. Do you see how long this is? It's a very big game. Okay, so I opened it up. Oh my god, you guys. This is crazy. This is I cannot wait to play this with Sophie. Sophie is going to die. So you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this up and then I'm going to show you guys what it looks like on the bed. It's going to be on the bed obviously because where else am I going to play this? Oh my god, this is insane. Look at this. Oh my god. That's crazy. So there's Pocahontas, John Smith, and there's also Governor Radcliffe. So I'm assuming that if you fall on him, maybe you go backwards. It's a 2 to 4 player game and they actually show you how to create the board setup. So I just set up the game board. It took me at least 15 minutes to figure out how to set up everything because it is a lot of work. I feel like games back then, like, it took a lot of time to set up the game board as opposed to now. This is legit, guys. I'm gonna show you what it looks like in a second, but it is like you're immersed in the movie. It's crazy. I'm so excited to play this. Okay, so I wanted to show you what it looked like, and this is basically the whole setup of the game board. This took forever because all of these pieces were not on the board. So this is the game board, but that's something you have to build, that's something you have to build, that's something you have to build, and this you have to place inside of the game board. Obviously, I'm playing by myself right now. I don't have anyone with me, so I'm just gonna explain to you guys what the game is, and then I'll like play a couple turns. So there are 2 pawns in this game. One is John Smith and the other is Pocahontas. Every person does not get 1 pawn. You're all playing together and you move both John Smith and Pocahontas depending on what you spin. So the object of the game is to be the first to move John Smith back onto his ship, owning at least 2 green tokens and 2 blue tokens and no red ones. So there are tokens that you can collect throughout the gameplay. So they're talking about blue. So you need 2 blue ones and you need 2 green ones, but no red ones. And the object, they said, is to get John Smith back onto his ship. So he starts on the ship and then he ends on the ship. So your goal for John Smith is to get him back on his ship after going through the entire game board with 2 of the green and 2 of the blue. In this game, players do not own pawns, which is what I just said. Players move the Pocahontas pawn and the John Smith pawn according to what the spinner, which is this, directs. So you spin it. If it lands on Pocahontas, you're moving Pocahontas. If it lands on John Smith, you're moving John Smith. So start your turn by spinning the spinner. What you do next depends on your spin. If you spin John Smith, move the John Smith pawn the number of spaces spun. Follow any space directions. Your turn is then over. If you spin Pocahontas, move the Pocahontas pawn the number of spaces spun. Follow any space directions. Your turn is then over. If you spin Pocahontas before John Smith reaches the waterfall meeting space, do not move the Pocahontas pawn. Your turn is over. So basically, if you get Pocahontas, let's say you spin this, right? And you land on Pocahontas 3 and John Smith has not met Pocahontas at the waterfall, you cannot move Pocahontas. She stays there because she has to meet John Smith before moving on. If you spin Ratcliffe, return 1 token of your choice, if you have one, face down to the box top. So obviously as you're traveling, you will be collecting these. So if you land on a Ratcliffe, you have to return this. Your turn is then over. So collecting tokens. Along the path, you'll collect tokens on certain spaces and at certain locations. Green tokens show objects from Pocahontas' culture. Blue tokens show objects from John Smith's culture. To win, you must have at least 2 green tokens and 2 blue tokens. You can't win if you have any red tokens, so get rid of them as you collect them. Keep your tokens secret by placing them face down in front of you. So although this is kind of a collaborative way of playing the game, you are still in competition with the person you're playing with because it depends on who can get John Smith there the fastest with the number of tokens that he needs. So then it tells you the space direction. So there's certain pictures on the game board. So if you land on an oak leaf space, you do nothing. Your turn is over. If you land on a Pathfinder space, you do nothing. Your turn is over. If you reach a Pathfinder space before ending your move, stop and spin the Pathfinder on the game board. So there are Flit and Miko spaces. So if you land on those, you collect 1 of these tokens face down from the box top. If you land on Wiggins and Percy, you collect a token again. There are 2 meeting spaces that has John Smith and Pocahontas. There are 2 of these, one at the waterfall and one at the hut. When you move onto a meeting space, stop there even if you haven't taken your full count. Meeting spaces are explained below. So when you meet at the waterfall, John Smith meets Pocahontas. So you have to move John Smith onto the waterfall meeting space. And then there is a dial on the waterfall that you spin. So if Pocahontas is shown on that dial, you collect a coin from the box top. If she does not appear, the person left of you that's playing with you spins it. If they get Pocahontas to come up, they collect the box top. So it really depends on, they collect a token, I'm sorry. It depends on if Pocahontas shows on the dial. After they've met, you have to take Pocahontas and John Smith to the meeting at the hut. So at the hut, Pocahontas has saved John Smith from the wrath of Chief Powhatan. If you move either pawn onto the hut meeting space, stop and place the John Smith pawn inside the hut. Move the Pocahontas pawn to the meeting space if you're not already there. Now turn the hut dial shown in figure 9. So if Pocahontas again appears in that dial, you take a token from the box and your turn is over. If she doesn't appear on the window, you move it on to the next person. So after crossing the Pathfinder a second time, move toward the ship. If you have the tokens you need to win, you may be lucky enough to move John Smith back to his ship on your turn. To do so, you must spin John Smith on the spinner and move the pawn onto any of the 3 spaces connected to the ship by the footprints. Then move the pawn directly to the ship's finished space to win. In order to win this game, you have to at least have 2 green tokens and 2 blue tokens and move the John Smith pawn aboard the ship. And that is the game. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I'm going to show you guys what it looks like on the board and I will play. Let's start playing together. I'll do a couple of gameplays just to show you guys like what it looks like And I'm so excited to play this with Sophie. Oh my god. And a beer too. Like, I'm really excited. Alright, so on this corner, this is where John Smith starts the game. He is boarding off of the ship, and it actually does say start, and then this is where you finish. So this is where John Smith starts. He's on his ship. When we start the game, we are only moving John Smith, not Pocahontas, because Pocahontas is up here, and in order for us to be able to move her, we need to get John Smith on this meeting space, and we turn this until we get Pocahontas here, and that's when Pocahontas jumps off the waterfall and they meet here, and that's when we can individually start moving them. The game has certain spaces that you can walk on, and everything means something. So if you land on any of these, you don't do anything, your turn is over. If you land on either Miko or Flit, so you would take a token and it would you'd either get something that is John Smith related, which is the blue tokens, or Pocahontas related, which are the green ones. And the red ones, I think this is a red one, you're not supposed to be collecting because you cannot win if you're carrying a red token. And also Wiggins and Percy gets you a token as well. So basically the gist of this game is that you're going through the movie, because the first thing that you have to do is get Pocahontas and John Smith to meet at the waterfall. After that, your next mission is to go to the hut and for Pocahontas to save John Smith from the chief, and that is basically the entire game. After you do that, you need to get John Smith back to his ship, and these are the 3 spaces that will get you to the ship. They have to have footprints on them, so these end the game, and that's where John Smith has to go. But again, you have to have 2 blue tokens and 2 green tokens in order to get John Smith back to his ship. This is the Pathfinder, so you spin it, and obviously if you land here, you're trying to get to this side, and if you land on this, you go that way. So we're gonna go ahead and do a couple of gameplays. That didn't count. Okay, so I got John Smith 3. So obviously if I had landed on Pocahontas, I would lose my turn and the next person would have to go. So obviously we are going this way. So he got 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So I landed on this, so nothing happens because I don't get a token and I just continue. John Smith 2. Okay, I'm getting very lucky. 1, 2. Alright, so I'm at the meeting place, and this is where I spin the dial, and I need to see Pocahontas in this window. If I don't get Pocahontas, then I have to do it again, because obviously I'm playing by myself. So I'm gonna spin this. Oops. John, you're in my way. I'm moving you. Okay, so I didn't get her, obviously, because she doesn't show. So let's do it again. Oh, there she is! So they have met each other, so she can come down, and they did the meeting, and I get to go here, and I'm gonna choose something else, and I got a token. So I got my first green token. So I'm not completely sure how quick this game would go, because obviously I need to get 2 of these and 2 blue ones in order for me to win. So I think you probably have to go around a couple of times, like before getting to the finish line, but this looks like a very cool game. That was so fun. I am so happy that I picked this up. I hope that you guys enjoyed that. I am like, honestly, Taryn, if you're watching this, the next time you come over, or if I go over your house, I am bringing this game, and we are going to have so much fun playing this because I know you love Pocahontas. I am so happy that I picked this up. This game was $30 on that website, and it was worth every penny. You guys, this is nostalgia. This is Disney nostalgia. That was Pocahontas. Now I'm going to go on to the next game that I got. And this one I'm actually a little bit more excited for, because although I do love Pocahontas, I don't love it more than Hercules. Oh my god, I'm so excited. So it says, save Mount Olympus 3D game. It's you against a mountain of monsters. Are you kidding? Look at this, you guys. So this is definitely a smaller box than the Pocahontas one. Zeus needs your help, but a mountain of monsters stands in the way. Hades has taken over Mount Olympus, and it's up to you to save the day. Make your way to the top of the mountain with the help of your trusted winged stallion, Pegasus. But be careful, a battle with a terrifying titan or evil monster could send you down the mountain. Be the first to reach the summit and restore Zeus to power, and you win. Battle the monsters by rolling the dice. Win and get an extra turn. Lose and head back to the mountains. This looks crazy. Do you see this? That's what the game board looks like. I am so excited. Also, the coloring on this board game looks so cool. So I'm gonna set that up. I'll like walk through the directions of how to play it, and then I'll again show you, I'll play it a little bit and show you guys what it looks like. I'm so excited! So that took a lot less time than setting up the Pocahontas board, and you guys will see why. It's a lot more easier to set up together. So the object of the game is to be the first player to reach the top of the mountain, topple Hades, and save Mount Olympus. Each player picks a Hercules piece. So you have yellow Hercules, you have a green Hercules piece, and a red Hercules piece. I chose the blue one. This is the one I am. So I'm gonna choose the blue one. So each player spins the spinner. So we have a spinner here. Obviously I'm not gonna do that because I'm one player, but whoever gets the highest number goes first. So when you're playing, you're counting every space, even if there's a player on the space in front of you. So you're still choosing that one. When you reach the last space on your level, do not move up the next level. So in order to move up to the next level, the last space on each level has a Pegasus space. In order to move from a Pegasus space to the next level, you must spin a number on the spinner that has a Pegasus symbol above it. If the spinner lands on a Pegasus number and that number takes you past this Pegasus space, move your game piece up to the yellow arrow space on the next level and move the proper number of spaces. If you spin a number that takes you past the last space on your level but it's not a Pegasus number, stop on the last space of your level. You cannot move up to the next level until you spin a Pegasus number on a future turn. Whenever you get to the last level, you'll see of the game board, you have to spin a number with Pegasus on it in order to move to the next level. So if you land on a Hades space, you must turn the monster located in the back of the space so it's facing forward. So all of these monsters, you can't see them because they're kind of blending into the board. So if you land on a Hades space, you turn the monster around and that's the monster that you're battling. So then you turn to the dice. So each dice has certain attack methods. So there's a sword, a shield, and a blank. So it actually tells you what you can spin in order to defeat the monster. If you land on the Hades space, that means you're fighting the monster. So you will be Hercules. You roll a dice that represents Hercules. Then the player to your right represents the monster, okay? So you both spin the die. If the monster rolls a blank and you, Hercules, spins a sword, Hercules wins. If the monster spins a sword and Hercules does a blank, then the monster wins. So if the monster wins, the player must move to the space immediately behind the last player on the board. That sucks. If Hercules wins, the player removes the monster from the board. You may take in a captured monster for a free spin at the end of any of your turns. That's awesome. If you land on a Hades space where the monster has been removed, do nothing, and the play continues as normal. Winning the game. If you're the first to make it to the top of Mount Olympus, flip down the Hades wheel so Hercules and Meg are on top and Zeus in the window. You just saved Mount Olympus. Oh my god, you guys, I'm so excited. Let's play. So this is what the spinner looks like. I'm just showing you guys. This is what the dice look like. So there's a shield, and there is a sword. So this is what you would spin if you come across a monster. So this is what the board looks like, you guys. This is so cool. So you're trying to defeat Hades and you're trying to get to the top of Mount Olympus. There are 4 different levels of this. So obviously this could take a while, but let's just start, and I am going to spin the dial. Here we go. Okay, really? The spinner is kind of weird, but whatever. I'm just gonna spin it without looking. It landed on a 5. Okay, so we're gonna go 5 spaces. 1, 2, 3. So it does have a Pegasus on there, so I can move up. 4, 5, 3, and again, it landed on a Pegasus number. So 1, 2, 3. Oh, I got a monster. I landed on Hades. So like I said, these monsters here are kind of camouflaging behind with the scenery. So I'm gonna just turn the monster. So this is the monster that I got. This guy. Okay, so this is gonna be Hercules' dice, and this is gonna be the monster's dice. So I'm gonna roll mine. So remember, I have to get a sword. Oh my god. I got the sword! Woo! I totally did not cheat. And this is the monster's. Blank. So I defeated the monster. So I get to take him, and the game carries on. I just wanted to show you guys really quick what it would look like. So this is when you're trying to beat Hades, and this is what it looks like when you defeated him. Obviously this is when you won. You get Hercules and Meg together and Zeus at the top. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I know this was kind of like a different kind of video, but I really wanted to share this with you guys, and I'm really excited that I made these purchases. The Hercules game was also $30. So really quick, before I close off this video, I want to show you the third game that I got, which was $20. It was a lot less than the Disney ones. And it was this Thumbelina game. And I love Thumbelina, you guys. It kind of looks like Candyland. But I don't know if I'm not going to show you guys how I'm going to play this game because there's just not enough time, and I feel like this video's already been like a million years, so I'm not going to do that. But please let me know if you want me to do a video playing this game. Maybe I can play it with Sophie and like do a gameplay of it. I like the Pocahontas concept more than the Hercules one. I feel like the Hercules one was a little less underwhelming than the Pocahontas one. The Pocahontas one I felt looked like it's a lot of fun. I'm really excited that I got both of them, and again, I really want to play with people because I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Let me know what you guys thought about this. Like, is there one that you liked more than the other? What did you like about the games? What did you not like about these games? Would you buy them if you had the chance to? And thank you so much for watching, Damsels. I hope wherever you are in the world, you are having a magical day. Mwah! Bye!